So the FDP will be started within 5 minutes. The session will be started within 4 minutes.
Sucharita madam, you can start, madam.
So shall we start, sir?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. So a wonderful morning to one and all. I heartily welcome each and everyone for a one-week online faculty development program on advanced algorithms and applications in AI and ML, organized by the Department of CSE, Narayana Engineering College, Gudur, in association with Gamer Society. Gamers is Artificial Intelligence Medical and Engineering Research Society, is a group of which is having a group of doctors, engineers, industry researchers, professionals, academicians, whose aim is to do scientific research on biosciences and medical domain using artificial intelligence. So on behalf of CSE Department, Narayana Engineering College, Gudur, I thank CEO of Indian Servers, Mr. Sai Satish Garu, for offering us an MOU with AIMers. Thank you, sir.
To meet the ever-demanding needs of knowledge industry, faculty development programs have also been an effective tool to enhance teaching and research capabilities of educators. Aiming at developing competencies in recent advances in information technologies, Narayana Engineering College, Gudur is conducting faculty development program on advanced algorithms and applications in artificial intelligence and machine learning. This technical faculty development program is aimed as a research frontier in problem solving. Machine learning is a type of artificial intelligence that computers withdraw ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. Machine learning focuses on the development of the computer program that can change when exposed to new data. I feel it as a great honor to welcome Dr. P. Venkateswar Rao Garu, Head of the Department CSC, Narayana Engineering College, Gudur, K. Vishwaksena Reddy Garu, Vice Principal, Narayana Engineering College, Gudur, Dr. V. Ravi Prasad Garu, Principal, Narayana Engineering College, Gudur, and all other respected faculty members from various institutions and CEO of Indian Servers, Sai Satish Sir, Resource person of the event, Dr. C. Nagaraj Garu, Professor, Computer Science and Engineering, Yogi Vemana University. Now, I feel honored to have with us the head of the department CSC, Dr. P. Venkateswar Rao Garu, to address the gathering.
Good morning, one and all present here. I am Dr. P. Venkateswar Rao, Professor and Head of the Department of CSC, Narayana Engineering College, Gudur branch. I welcome Mr. Sai Satish Garu, the President of AIMer Society. I welcome Dr. C. Nagaraj Garu, Professor in CSC, Yogi Vemana University, Kadapa, who is acting as a resource person for today's session. I am thankful to our Director Sir and the Principal of our college for the accepting of a MOU agreement with AIMer Society. I especially thankful to Mr. Sai Satish Garu for inviting me into the Society of AIMer for the great achievement of working on various research and development activities in medical sciences and connecting to engineering stream. Thank you so much, sir. Because of your AIMer only, today it is possible to conduct this FDP and make it available. This what is that we are doing with AIMer. First, your idea is good that to disseminate information, what all we are going to do from the AIMer to the faculty fraternity. And later we can further spread over this, what the achievements we are going to get it from the AIMer to further to the students even. Thank you so much. So over to the hosting system.
I am profusely elated to take an opportunity to introduce our resource person, Dr. C. Nagaraj Garu. Dr. C. Nagaraj Garu, Professor, Computer Science and Engineering, Yogi Vemana University, Praduttur. Has PhD on Digital Image Processing at JNTU Hyderabad, MTech in Computer Science with distinction from JNTU Hyderabad, BTech in Computer Science and Engineering from JNTU Anantapur. Received Best Teacher Award by Glacier General Research Foundation and Global Management Foundation, Ahmedabad. Also received Outstanding Scientist Award of the Research Awards, WIFRA 2015. National Level Award for Teaching Excellence 2013. State Level Award for Research Excellence 2013. The Lifetime Achievement Award of Rayalaseema Vidyaratna 2013. We are extremely glad and thankful to have your presence, sir. I am very pleased to request Honorable Resource Person Dr. C. Nagaraj Garu to speak a few words about the event and proceed the session.
Okay, directly I will start the subject matter. No problem. Later on I will speak something about that. Hello.
Yeah, it's okay, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Sorry, is it visible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Venkateshwar Garu.
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay. Shall I start now?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay, good morning to all of you. So first of all, I thank the Professor Venkateshwar Garu and Sai Satish Garu and management of this college for inviting me as a resource person to this event. So in this session, so that is, I'm going to explain artificial intelligence and its applications. So today's lecture contents are motivation on artificial intelligence, comparison of AI versus ML versus DL versus and DS, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and data science. So examples of artificial intelligence, that is where we are using artificial intelligence, types of artificial intelligence based on the functionalities, types of artificial intelligence based on ability to solve, and 13 applications. So that is, these 13 applications are already implemented by some of my research scholars and my students. So I will explain about all these applications. So if time permits, I will execute one program and how that artificial intelligence so works for given questions. But whenever I'm posing the questions, how that will be giving answers. Practically, I will show that example in Python program, right? So these are the today's contents. So the first thing is motivation. So what are the applications of computers? So the first thing is, what are the applications of computers? But when I was a student at JNTU Anantapur 89 to 93, so this question was very, very important because at that time there were very limited applications were there. So that's why they are giving this question. They were giving this question. But nowadays, so it is very, so the difficult, so that is here is a more number of, it become very easy because uncountable applications are there on computers. So, but nowadays, what is the difficult question? So what are the drawbacks of computers? Because everywhere we are using computers, but there are uncountable applications are there in the computer. So, but here you go. But when you ask this question, what are the drawbacks of that computer? So then it is somewhat difficult to answer, right? What are the drawbacks of computer? But what are the drawbacks? Generally, there are two drawbacks of the computers. One is it does not think on its own. It does not think on its own like human being, and it does not take decision on its own. It doesn't take decisions on its own. These two are the drawbacks. That means it does not think on its own. It does not take decisions on its own. If you add these two features to the computer, definitely it mimics the human beings. So then the computer will become a human being. So it is possible with the artificial intelligence. But another question is, what are the most difficult things to use computers to us? What are the most difficult things to use computers to us? That means most of the people, they are using computers, but where they are facing problems. So that is, the first one is writing of programs. But we see that as a teacher, we know that even if we give 10 programs to the students, so even they can't execute 10 programs in the lab because it is somewhat difficult to write the programs. Even so, that is the 80% of the faculty. So they are good at theoretically, they are excellent in theory, but they can't implement by writing programs because writing of the program is also somewhat difficult to us. So second one is operations of computer and languages used. So second difficulty is operations of computer and languages used. Here is the different types of languages we are using. Some languages, so that is simplify the problems, or some languages so complicate the problems. For example, if you want to implement any machine learning techniques by using C program, it is somewhat difficult. But when you are implementing same thing by using R programming as well as Python programming, it is very easy. So that means shifting from one language to another language is also very difficult for the human beings. So these are the most difficult things, right? Suppose next one is, but what are our aims to use our computers? What are our aims to use computers? Here is the first one is, without using our brain, we have to think with the brain of computer. So that is the first aim of ours is, so think, so that is without using our brain, we have to think with the brain of the computer. So that is without using your brain, you have to think with the brain of computer. So that is the one aim. So second one is the problem solving without writing programs. So this is very easy. So that is the problem solving without writing program. For example, whatever thought you got, so whatever problem you have received, but when you are giving the problem to the computer, so without writing program by you, the computer will generate the program and give the correct answer. So that means here is, if you are not able to write, the program, the computer will write the program. But is it possible to write? So then here is in the problem solving. So the most of the researchers also where they are failing means, so they have good idea, but they can't implement that idea by using any programming language. But here is, but our aim is, suppose without writing the program, if you solve the problem, so definitely, so it will be good. So third one is making better decision, So for example, in future decisions, suppose here is we have to, without using our brain, we have to make a better decision. For example, so suppose May 10th, I have to eat an ice cream. So then is it a comfortable day for eating of ice cream or not? But when you are putting that question, or otherwise in the business, if I am establishing one organization, either it will produce the better profit or not. So then for that purpose, either you have to establish the organization or that. So if you want to make a decision, so the compulsory you have to do a lot of research. And based on that, you have to establish one organization. But here is, without doing research by you, without your thinking, so that is the computer will give better decision when you are establish this organization. So that definitely you will get this much of profit. Otherwise, you will get this much of loss like that. So then here is the better making decision. So future predictions, that is the future prediction means, for example, the students will think that suppose if I study these subjects, can I get the job in future or not? So then when you are asking that question, so when you are giving this question to the computer, definitely computer will make the decision. But here is, so you need not to bother about that. Suppose this is the future prediction is also very difficult to us. So next one, getting answer for all our doubts. So whatever you get the doubt, so when you clarify your doubts, definitely you can understand the things. Suppose if you are not able to clarify whether others' doubts or yours doubts, so then definitely there is a problem. So these are the things without using our brain. So that is, we have to think with brain of the computer. So the problem solving without writing the programs, making better decision. So that is the future prediction, getting answers for all our doubts. So that means, so that is whatever questions I posed here. So that is everything is possible with the help of artificial intelligence. With the help of artificial intelligence. So what I mean by artificial intelligence? That means it enables the machine to think like how humans are thinking. That means here is our aim is to make the computer to think like a human beings. That means the computer mimic like a humans. So that will be done by using artificial intelligence. But where you have to create the artificial intelligence and how to create the artificial intelligence and what are the types of artificial intelligences we are using at present. I think you understood that. So that is so suppose artificial intelligence, why we have to move to the artificial intelligence. The first one is, so the applications, the computer applications are uncountable. So that is what are the drawbacks of computers are. It does not think on its own. It does not take decisions on its own. So to overcome these limitations, we can use the artificial intelligence. And what are the most difficult things to use computer to us? Writing of the programs. Second one is operations on computer and languages. Without using our brain, we have to think with the brain of computer. Problem solving without writing of the program. Making better decision, future prediction, getting answers for all our doubts. So everything is possible. So when you implement artificial intelligence, I think you understood that artificial, that is why you are moving from, so that is the traditional techniques to artificial intelligence, right? Is it audible? Hello?
Yes, sir. It is audible, sir.
Okay, right. So now you see that, so how that is artificial intelligence? Generally, so that is the artificial intelligence missions mimic like a human beings, but where you have to do the modifications. For example, you see that, so that is the human thinking capability. You see that human thinking capability. For example, here is you are taking that one scenery, that is the image or video we are considering. So suppose when you are putting this question to the students, they will say that, so what are the things available in this image? What are the objects are there in the image? But when you see that, so then here is, how do you identify that? So the first one is the sensing device. Our eye is a sensing device. So first our eye captured the photograph of this image and it will be sent to brain. It will send to our brain. That is, our brain is an interpreting device. Our brain is interpreting device. And from that, so we can get the interpretations, output interpretation we are getting. So that is the, simply we can say that a garden, a spring, bridge, water, tree, flower, and green. So then here is, this is the interpreting capability of the human being. But what are the things we are using? But here is in our brain, so we are using some different kinds of algorithms. That is the thinking capability. For example, same image, if I are given for 10 years age student, 10 years age child, so his capability is different. Suppose the same thing when you are given to the 22 years, that is the BTech student. So then his interpretation is different because they are using different kinds of interpretations. Or suppose when you are given the same thing to the researcher, so his interpretation is different. But here is also, there are different things also available in this, but only few things are represented. So that is the interpretation level is different from person to person. Here is the sensing device is eye and interpreting device is a brain. So here is this is the human thinking and human intelligence. So that is whatever you have taken the data, so that will be received and stored in our brain. We can interpret the data and so that we can get the outputs. That is the human. So, but in the same way, if you want to implement this thinking capability of the human being by using computers, then what modifications you have to do? So suppose how the computer will think, For example, you see that as the same application when you are given to the computer. So first, instead of our eye, here is we are using webcam. Instead of eye, we are using webcam. That means webcam, with the help of that web camera, we can capture the photograph of this one, anything. So whatever are giving the input, that will be taking that is the photograph. Or some other way we can use the sensors. That is the sensors also. So one kind of input devices. So that will receive the data from the outside world. So then here is that is receiving, and so that will be sent to the computer. So within the computer, so that is the computer memory is there and processing is there, everything we know that. But here is how this computer will work. So like our brain. So, but in our brain, you are writing your own programs. So based on your programs, you are analyzing. But here is a computer does not have any on its own programs. But we have to write at present in traditional system, what we are using, we are writing programs, and so that according to that we are getting the output. But writing a program is very, very difficult. Already I explained, right? So that is the former Vice Chancellor of JNTU. So he announced that if any student is able to write 10 C programs correctly, he offered job in MNC company. That means you think that how it is difficult, how difficult it is to write the programs. But here is, but when you are using in the traditional system, we are writing our algorithms in the computer. According to our algorithm, it is giving output like this. So, but here is when you are applying this artificial intelligence, so here is the computer, whatever the input is given, according to that computer input, so the computer will write program on its own. We are providing a thinking capability to that mission, and so that it gives the output like this. So this is the computer thinking. That means here is the vision is you can use either cameras or sensors, and based on that a computer. And here is only the difference between a traditional computers and artificial intelligence computers is, so artificial intelligence missions write program according to its given input data, but in the traditional systems, so that is according to program, you have to submit the input data of this. Only that is the difference. But if you want to make it as an artificial intelligence mission, because this computer is equal to human being, means that is the same thing. That is the human beings is equal to a computer thinking of this one. So human beings is equal to computer thinking like this. So that is the same similarity between these, right? But only thing is we have to write the programs in traditional systems, but in artificial intelligence system, it writes its own programs. So this is the computer vision. So that is how the system will be mimicking. But here is we have to teach the computer how to write the programs. So this is the human beings and the computer thinking. I think you understood this, right? So now we see that what is an artificial intelligence? So that is what is the relationship exists in between artificial intelligence and machine learning. Machine learning to deep learning to this one. So then you see that artificial intelligence. Now you see that human beings thinking is equal to computer thinking. So then artificial intelligence means it enables the machine to think like human thinking. So that is here is, for example, when I am teaching subjects, right? So suppose when you put the questions, so immediately I will understand that question and answer for your questions. the same way the computer should understand same thing like that, right? So that is the thinking like this. So the exact textbook definition for artificial intelligence is artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science. It is a branch of computer science to build smart machines to think how smart human think. So that means it is our response. That is the exact textbook definition of this artificial intelligence is artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science to build a smart machines to think how smart humans think. So that is the exact. That means here is how smart humans are thinking. So that is the human thinking capability, what we are thinking. So that is thinking rationally. That means a logical thinking. Why it is, where it is, how it is, like that. Whenever you're putting this kind of questions, so automatically it gives the answer. Acting accordingly, human beings. Suppose whatever we are performing actions, the same actions will be done by using artificial intelligence. Acting rationally. So that means these are the main functions and the definition of the artificial intelligence. So this is the broad sense. This is a broad sense. So that means, but when you see that one robotic, when robot, so it is a artificial intelligence. The robot is a artificial intelligence, but how we are building that robot is represented within other applications of that artificial intelligence. For example, so what are the difference? Suppose machine learning. So machine learning is so that is the part of artificial intelligence. The machine learning is a part of artificial intelligence. So I think you understood that. So suppose when you see that human being, so that is the human being, when you see that he has his name, his qualifications and everything, but we don't know that. So in what way he is expert, like that. So in the same way, so for that purpose here is when you are using this, it is a machine learning. How to make the machine to learn without being explicit programmed. So that is here is the machine learning is a part of the artificial intelligence. But what are the main functionalities of this machine learning is? So that is how to make the machine to learn without being explicit programmed. So that means without writing the program, we have to teach something to the computer. So for example, so when you go to the circus, so we can see so many animals like elephant or tiger or dog or some other things are there. But here is, but when, so suppose when we are using, so I saw that, suppose whenever in the circus, elephant, when you throw the ball, it kick the ball. When you throw the ball, it kick the ball. Or so suppose when you given the drawing board, so it draws something. It draws something on the board. But when you give the bicycle, it rides the bicycle. It rides bicycle. When you given the one girl to that elephant, it dancing. But actually, but when if the same actions when you do in the forest elephant, it cannot do. When you throw all the things at a time, but it won't perform any actions. That means, so that means here is how we are training that elephant. How we are training that elephant. That is the same way here is also for the mission also we can teach the mission to learn something. So for that purpose we can use the mission learning, right? How to make the mission to learn without being explicit program. But here is what are the techniques we are using in the mission learning? What are the techniques? But artificial intelligence is the general term. Either it may become expert system or gaming, natural language processing, or so that is the decision support system. There are hundreds of applications integrated into AI. But machine learning is also one kind of application, one part of the artificial intelligence. So what are the machine learning? It contains a set of statistical tools to explore and analyze the data. So that is what the machine learning contains. It contains a set of statistical tools to explore and analyze the data. Suppose if you are given the data, so based on the data, you have to analyze and you have to get the information. So for example, suppose, so that is the day after tomorrow, suppose you say that I have one ice cream parlor. You say that I have one ice cream parlor. So I want to sell more ice cream on so-and-so day, or suppose April 20th. So then if I put the question, how many cones or how many ice creams I have to put in my ice cream parlor on April 20th? When I put this question, what here is, on the day for the past 10 years data, that is the temperature, weather, because eating of ice cream depends on the weather conditions, right? So then on that April 20th, so it takes the weather conditions of last 20 years and it analyzes, and based on that experiences, it says that, so on that day, so there is a rainy day. So then, so you purchase very small, so that is you give very less number of ice creams in your ice cream parlor. So if on that day, that day was very hot, so then here is we get number of things like that. But if you want to analyze, so some tools are required. The tools are provided by using a machine learning. But how the tools are implemented? One is by using a supervised learning techniques. Already I think you have studied. Unsupervised learning techniques already you have studied. So semi-supervised learning and reinforcement learning. So there are 4 kinds of statistical tools we can use, apply techniques we can. So for analyzing or exploring the information in the data. So suppose in the robot, suppose if you want to think that, so compulsory these for learning, for teaching how to learn. So that will be done by using a machine learning. It is a part of this one. This is artificial intelligence and machine learning. In the machine learning, a statistical tools to explore the data and and analysis of the data we are using. So next, what is the deep learning? What is the deep learning? So the deep learning, it creates a complex hierarchical models to mimic how humans learn new information. That means here is deep learning is part of machine learning. Deep learning is a part of machine learning, but it provides the architecture. Architecture means how the human brain structured, how the neurons are communicated, how the data is transferring from one place to another place. That means in our brain, so that the 10 to the power of 12 millions of neurons are there. So according to functionality of that neurons, we are making decisions. So that means in the same way, here is with the help of the deep learning, we can create architecture or model. That means, so it is just like a kernel creation. It is a kernel creation. That means it is nearer to our brain. That it creates a complex hierarchical models to mimic how humans learn new information. So that means it providing that. Suppose it provides the architecture of our brain, and according to that, which part of our brain, so activating for different things. For example, human emotions are there. So in our brain, there is a small part amygdala. So amygdala causes to our emotions, right? So, but here is depending upon that changes in the amygdala, so the people may get angry or sad or disgusting or happiness. So that means according to our emotions, that amygdala part will be changes in color. Amygdala part changes in color, size, and shape. So that's why you can say that the face is the index of mind. All the functionality of that amygdala, so that is reflecting on our face. The same concept I took, and for decision making, I got a DST project of worth of 24 lakhs. Already I submitted it to the government, right? So in the same way, so if that is architecture, that is the structure of amygdala, if you want to mimic, if you want to create artificially, so then we can provide emotions to the mission. But how to create that architecture? That architecture is created by using a deep learning. This is, you can think that it is very nearer to hardware part of our brain, right? It creates multi-neural network architecture, which is similar to, nearer to our brain structure. That is one of the methods. What methods we can use for this? That is the artificial neural networks. That means for counting the numbers or temperatures or something like this, or CNN, a convolution neural networks. So that is, here is, for suppose here is convolution networks. Generally, we can use for image processing or video processing or teleconferences. So for that things, we can use the convolutional neural networks, RNN, recurrent neural networks. That means for repetitive thinking of that one, we can use the recurring neural networking of this. That means I don't want to go in depth about all these things. With the help of these techniques, we can construct the architecture which is similar to our brain. So that is the functionality of deep learning. I think you understood that. So artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. With the help of deep learning, so we are creating architecture or kernel which is nearer to brain, and with the help of machine learning, so that is, we are training the artificial brain equal to our brain, and after that, entire thing is considered as a artificial intelligence. So this is the DL, that is the deep learning. So next here is, we can see that data science. We can see that another term, that is the data science, because nowadays most of the colleges, so they introduced artificial intelligence, machine learning course, and so that is the data science courses. I think there is no deep learning courses. So that is, here is the data science. When you are data science is the field of study that combines domain expertise. It combines domain expertise, a programming skills, knowledge of mathematics, probability, and statistics to extract meaningful insights from the data. But here is the data science means purely it is related to the domain expertization. Domain expertization, a programming skills, knowledge of mathematics, probability, and statistics to extract meaningful insights from the data. That means here is, but in the data science, you can use domain expert. For example, if you are an expert in suppose in gaming, in the gaming theory, either you have to see that in that field, either you are able to create an artificial mission or not. So the domain expertization is required. So second one is the programming skills also required. Programming skills. For example, even you might have a lot of knowledge. You are expert in particular domain, but if you are not able to implement your knowledge, you cannot make it skills, right? But the programming languages are very, very important, because nowadays, so suppose if you are not good at Python programming, or suppose Python or R programming or MATLAB, so that is even illiterate in machine learning or in artificial intelligence. But with the C programming, you can implement that, but it takes it is not flexible language for that. So the knowledge of mathematics are required. Knowledge of mathematics are required. So that is in the data science, knowledge of mathematics or probability and statistics means, for example, most of the people, they know the machine learning, but they are giving only linear regression or HVM, data sciences or different kinds of things. But after that, the statistical parameters are very, very important to analyze the data. So when you are taking the two data sets, you should know that. So what are the relation exist between these two tests? Either positive correlation is existed or negative correlation. Either weak correlation or strong correlation. So if you want to analyze this kind of relationship between the two data sets, compulsory you are good at mathematics and probability and statistics to expert. So this is called data science. But here is data science can be used in three parts. It is not belongs to anyone. but it is a part of AI, so ML and DL. So that means, so it is not a subset and it is not a superset for artificial intelligence. It is a separate one, but it is a subpart will be the technique. So this is the main relation among these things: artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and data sciences. I think I have understood that. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Participants are muted, sir. Shall I unmute them?
Sir, at least one or two faculty should answer to me.
Yes, sir.
because,
Actually, they are active. They are active only. We just, yeah, they can
okay,
unmute themselves
I
now.
understand. Sir, is it audible?
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
So that is, I've understood this.
Yes, sir. Now participants can unmute themselves.
Okay, no problem, sir. So either is it audible? So that means these are the main relations among these. Artificial intelligence is a general term. So that is finally we can see the robot. So that is the artificial intelligence. Inside how the robot is learning, that can be implemented by using machine learning techniques, and how the kernel part of the robot is written or implemented. That part is taken care by the deep learning. And next, that is the entire mathematics, that is the entire expert knowledge should be provided by using data science. So these are the comparisons among these four: artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and data sciences. Right? So next, what are the examples? So that is what are the examples of artificial intelligence? So that is the where we are using at present. Very a few applications are there. So that is the few examples are there. So first one is, you see that Siri or Alexa and other smart assistant devices. So that is nowadays we can see that. So suppose recently, so my son has got a job in MTX, right? So he is working in MTX. That company people has given one Alexa tool as a gift to him. So then when you are saying that this Alexa, so whatever you speak, it understand, it gives the answers. For example, when you say that, so Alexa, good morning, immediately it say that, so good morning, so that is have a pleasant day. Like this, it is giving answer. For example, if I want to listen a particular song, suppose Alexa, I want Punya Bhumi Nadesham song. So then automatically, so it play the song. So that is the Alexa means here is how that smart device is working. How that smart device is working means, because whenever I am speaking, it receives my speech. It receives my speech and it understands my speech. And next, according to my speech, it is giving answers. That means same thing like human being. But when you ask the student, what is your name? He will understand my question and he will answer to me. So in the same way, the tool is also, that is the artificial intelligence tool. So Alexa, so that the device, whatever you speak, it understands and it gives the answers. Suppose if you want to stop that, we can say that Alexa, stop, or Alexa, increase your sound, Alexa, decrease your sound. But when you are asking this kind of questions, automatically it understands according to our brain, so it gives the answers. So that is the one example of this artificial intelligence, right? So, but when you are using this Alexa, I tested it. So because, so I'm the researcher, I want to know something, what are the drawbacks in that Alexa. But when I am speaking with that Alexa, I said that, Alexa, I want Telugu songs. But when I'm putting this question, it understands my question and it playing Telugu songs. Okay, clear? So then what I have done, I changed my, that is the high pitch variation. Suppose, Alexa, I want Telugu songs. I want Telugu songs. But when I am using Telugu, but the Alexa does not understand my language. It doesn't understand my language. then it say that, sorry, I could not understand your speech. Because as a human being, they can understand Telugu or Telugu, no problem, because the slang is different from place to place. Or in the second time, again I tested. So Alexa, Telugu songs. I said Telugu songs. Then at that time also that that device has said that, so that is, I could not understand. Because, so that means even it is a artificial intelligence, there is a lot of speech recognition process is required. So what the human are thinking, what the human are understanding. So that, and the Alexa also, we can use the speech processing is a one kind of research and one part of research in the artificial intelligence. That means if you do more research on artificial intelligence, so that is the speech processing, so then you can improve the Alexa. That is the one kind of device at present we are using. So second example of that artificial intelligence is, so that is the self-driving cars. So that is the self-driving car is also one kind of example of, so that is the artificial intelligence. So already we know that a Google map, but when you use the Google map, when you set the starting location and ending location, but when we are moving, so it shows the source to destination path, shortest path. So that is in the same way, but here is self-driving car means without driver, when you set the starting address and the ending address, automatically the car should go from this to destination. So that is called self-driving car. So the recently in America, they tested the self-driving cars also without driver. But how this will be working? But a driver, how he can think? So you will think that, so that is the, when you are saying that a driver, so what he will thinking? So when you are driving that, you can think that either you can estimate. So either car, so that is the opposite cars speed you can estimate, and road feature, road structure you can estimate, and next according to that you will take the directions, you will increase the speed and you will decrease the speed. The same action should be taken by the artificial intelligence. For example, they can use one camera. So they can use one camera. So the camera is always capturing the photograph of video, that is the road and vehicles and up and downs of that road. So immediately it takes some artificial intelligence, that is the machine learning tools or some other things. It identify the objects what are on the road, what is the structure of the road. According to that, it makes the directions. So this thinking capability is given as a one tool in the car. So that's why that is one of the example, that is a self-driving car. There are a lot of problems are there. I don't want to go in depth about that problems, that is the research problems. But if most of the faculty are researchers, so then I will explain one or two problems in depth, right? So because 10 to that, that is 5 of students are working, my research scholars are working on this artificial intelligence. So they are published papers. So I will explain that papers also, right? So next one is robo advisory. Next example is, another one is, we can call it as a robo advisory. Automatically we know that robots, right? So for example, robots, when you are using the robots, it mimics like a human being. So for example, suppose a dog is there. You see that a dog. Suppose if you want to, so suppose most of the people, so they are having pet dogs. What are the problems of the pet dogs? For example, so suppose when they go to some other place, so they have to carry the dog along with them. Suppose it got some diseases, some health problems. So there are something is there, right? Suppose after 10 years, 20 years, it may die. So then people may not digest the death of the dog, right? So for avoiding all these things, why can't we use one dog robo? But in the dog robo, if you want to create that, so first you analyze the entire capability, functionality of the dog. how it is barking, how it is biting, how it is oscillating that tail, or how it is jumping, walking, and like that. So here is suppose, so in the brain, in the artificial brain we can create, and that is a dog has 2 eyes. Here is also 2 sensors will be given to the dog. Whenever person is comes, it captures the photograph with the 2 eyes, that means with the sensors, and it applies the machine learning or artificial intelligence techniques, and it analyzes. So whatever database is stored in the family photos, and whenever that is a matching, according to that, it will function. Suppose a small kid is come. So then, so it will go and it will enjoy with that child. Suppose unknown person is come. So then automatically it will be barking. That means that functionality when you are creating that, so you need not to use a real dot. You need not to use real dot. So that robotic advisors also has come. So next, so conventional boards, that is here is internet where repeated tasks can be done with the board. Board is a software program that operates on internet and perform repetitive tasks. So there is the conventional boards also there, and spam mail filters. For example, spam mail, later I will go in depth about that spam mail, how to filter the spam mail. So, but the spam mail are virtual. Everyone is having their own internet. So that is the mail IDs. So in that mail ID, we can see that one is the inbox and spam mail box. So if the mail is original, it move to inbox. If it is a spam mail, it move to spam folder. But how the machine is taking that, how it is classifying, whether it is a original mail or a spam mail. So, but for the human being, so it is not possible to always separate them, because day and night we are receiving the mails, some advertisements or some unwanted mails or some original mails, some important mails we are receiving. But it is for human beings, so that is the instead of human being, the artificial intelligence will separate. So that is the spam with the original mails. That is also one kind of example. That is the software artificial intelligence example of this. So Netflix recommendation. That is the world's leading internet and entertainment platform. So that is a purely movie rental services. So already this is already we are using. Or suppose for rental purpose, we can take the movie and we can watch the movies, right? So, but here is also without using the computer, simply with voice record. So with simple actions, we can perform all these actions. So these are some of the examples of artificial intelligence, right? So there are a lot of applications in artificial intelligence. There's a lot of research is going on. So in all the cases, that is the video processing or speech processing or decision making or gaming or natural language processing or different applications, the research is going on. So in future, entire thing may be so under control of artificial intelligence, right? So next, so that is what is the main aim of that artificial intelligence? That is on what part we have to concentrate when you are designing artificial brain. So first one is reasoning. You have to concentrate on reasoning of the problem. That means why that is happened, where it is happened, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages. The reasoning should be done in this case. Next, learning, how the machine can learn on its own. And next, problem solving. Next one is the problem solving of this one. Wait. అవి కొంత డిస్టర్బెన్స్ ఆయన అక్కడ ఇది జరుగుతున్నట్టుంది కన్స్ట్రక్షన్ బిల్డింగ్ లో కొత్తగా వచ్చారు. సో ప్రాబ్లమ్ సాల్వింగ్, సో పర్సెప్షన్, అబ్జర్వేషన్ అండ్ లింగ్విస్టిక్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ద 1 minute అండి. It was okay. Sorry for the disturbance. So that is the next one is types of artificial intelligence and functions. Hello. Hello, is it audible? Andy?
You're audible,
Yes,
sir.
yes. Yes, you are audible.
So
Yes, sir, audible, sir.
all algorithms and papers I will explain with the algorithms. So later on, see there. So next one is the types of artificial intelligence. So according to functionalities. So there are 4 types of artificial intelligence. One is the reactive missions, limited memory missions, theory of mind, and self-aware artificial intelligence. There, because 4 types of functions are there. For example, reactive missions. When you see that this kind of artificial intelligence, so these are very limited capability that can be produced. That is, that can be take the input and according to input, it provide the output. But here is there is a no memory is used, no learning capability is given for the artificial missions. Right? Reactive means there is a no memory and there is no learning process. Whatever you are giving input value, according to your input, it gives the output. So that is called reactive mission. For example, you see that a spam mail, suppose firewalls. So the firewalls comes under reactive missions. The firewalls comes under reactive missions. That means here is in the firewalls. So, but what you are saying, it is just like guard. It is a security guard. But if you want to give that, so I want to block these. I want to block these websites. But when you are given these websites to the firewall, so the simply whenever that is the firewall will block only those websites. It allows the remaining websites, but it can't ask any question why you are blocking these websites. So that is it won't think on its own. So that kind of things are called artificial intelligence. That is the reactive missions we are using. But when you are using that reactive missions, only thing is you can do the things of this one, right? So that is the only examples of that one is firewalls or security. Suppose in front of your company or your college, there are security is there. But what a security will do? Suppose whenever the student comes, you will verify the ID card and you will allow him. Or if the student has no ID card, simply you can throw out. Because only that they won't think that. Suppose if the student forgotten his ID card, he can't think that whether he is our student or not. But simply even he is our student, simply you will throw out. So that kind of artificial intelligence are called the reactive missions. All types of firewalls are called reactive missions. All types of So next, limited memory missions. Limited memory missions. In the limited memory missions, the missions that are capable of learning from historical data and make better precisions, better predictions. Most current applications fall into this category. But at present, we are in a stage of second in artificial intelligence. So at present, we are at the second stage of memory limited artificial intelligence applications. Why? Because here is, it takes the data. For example, you take that as spam mail detection. So in that cases, when the computer will receive the mail, immediately this artificial, that is the limited memory artificial intelligence, so can analyze and according to the previous data, it identify whether it is a spam or original mail. So that means by taking the historical data, it takes a decision on its own. So that is the limited memory missions. For example, one of the example of that limited memory missions are so that is the self-driving cars. Self-driving cars. In the self-driving cars, but when the car is moving, so automatically the car can capture the surrounding capability, surrounding things. So that is the opposite vehicles, opposite vehicle type, opposite vehicle speed, and road conditions and hill conditions, and everything it receives, it analyzes. According to that, it takes the directions. If the road is not good, so then the car speed will be automatically reduced. If the road is good. So then speed will be increasing. Suppose opposite car is coming. So it takes the diversions. At what angle it has to take the diversion? Everything will be comes under limited memory. But how that will be identifying either in front of that, either car is coming or lorry is coming or bus is coming, depending upon the thing. So next, third category, but we are not yet started this theory of mind and self-awareness. So theory of mind means it is a common sense we are providing to the mission. Theory of can use like this. That is the thing. So mission that begin to interact with the thoughts and emotions of human beings. But for example, when we are talking to the mission, it understands our emotions. According to our emotions, it gives the answers. So for example, if I'm asking question with the angry mode, so then it will answer for same thing. It understands, okay, you are so angry. So that's why I have to give the questions like the answer like this. Or if I am in sad mood, for example, when you go to one marriage function, so then it gives the, according to that it reacts. Or suppose okay, death function kellam anukondi andaru yerstunte so computer vachesi dani varaku chesukodu ante it understands the situation, our human emotions, and according to that our human emotions it will react. So that is called theory of mind artificial intelligence. Theory of mind, that means it understands our brain, our emotions, our thinking capabilities. According to our thinking capabilities, it responding. So that kind of theory is called theory of mind. But it is a conceptually we are speaking, but practically we did not implement it at present. We did not implement. So practically we are implementing how to understand the emotions by the computer. That is called theory of mind. But at present we are theoretically good at the theory of mind, but practically we are lagging. In the real life, we are lagging. And the last one is self-aware mission. That means it has its own emotions. But in the third case, it understands our emotions. According to our emotions, it responds. But the fourth one is it understands, it has its own emotions. For example, sometimes robot should get angry. Robot should get crying, should cry. A robot should become happy. But when you ask that why you are so angry, then it gives the answer why the robot is angry. That kind of self-emotions are called self-aware artificial intelligence functionalities. But here is, we are far from this. That is, inka manam antavaraku raaledu. So theory of mind daggara maatrame analyze chestu unnam. But here is, I think you understood that the 4 functionalities. First one is, so without thinking, without storing the memory, simply whatever instructions you are given, it follows, right? So, but the Alexa is also comes under a first category. Suppose when you ask that question, I want Telugu song, it simply listen and it understand Telugu songs. It play the Telugu songs. So then it won't analyze, it won't recognize, it won't store in the memory. So limited memory means the artificial drivers, that is the automatic driving cars, that is the limited memory. And the third category is, so that is the mission will understand our emotions. Because I think you saw that Robo movie, Robo 1. So in the first part is the theory of mind. Because even whatever that is Rajinikanth said, it follows, right? So then it brings the things. Even it bring one girl without dress. But that is, there is no common sense of that robo. That is the theory of mind. Or suppose self-awareness means, but even he said something. So whenever that enter into the building, it think itself, okay, she has no clothes. That's why you have to give the clothes. After that, we have to bring to outside. So that the thinking capability will be done with the self-awareness. So these based on the functionalities of artificial intelligence, we can use these 4 kinds of classification. So that means other type of classifications, other thing is artificial natural intelligence, artificial general intelligence, artificial super intelligence. Artificial narrow intelligence means that is related to specific part, specific application. For example, you take that ATM machine, right? So then like that can be used for specific purpose. Here is, we can apply some machine learning techniques. Suppose by using some machine learning techniques, and we can create narrow intelligence applications that cannot be applicable to any others. I think electronics people, you can say that is a so that is the embedded systems. We can use embedded because microcontrollers they are using in the BMW cars, right? So suppose even you go high speed, whenever object comes, it stops or it takes the diversion and it will go out. But that is depends on microcontroller. But that microcontroller comes under artificial narrow intelligence. So general artificial means that is the same thing can be used for more than one purpose, that is the higher thinking like that. Or super intelligence means so the way the machine will become self-aware and surpass this one. So these are the ability to do the application. These are the 3 types of artificial intelligence. So next one is applications. You see that what are the applications of AI? I think you understood that. So that is the why you are moving for AI. That is the motivation. So after that, I explained the relation among all 4 concepts, 4 important concepts. One is the AI, ML, DL, and data science. So after that, I explained some examples of at present examples of AI. So next one is type of AIs with the functionalities and with the ability, right? So next here is what are the applications? So that is the artificial intelligence, where that artificial intelligence is required, right? So that is here is 13 examples are there. So that is 13 examples are done. And some of the examples are from textbook. These 4 are from textbook. And so already I implemented that algorithm spam detection Python. Or next one is so the videos are, so that means in the cell phone, how do you make it as a gallery? So that is another one, the research problems and methodologies I implemented. Or next one is medical diagnostic for cancer detection. That is for mammographic applications. That is the breast cancer, how to analyze and how to make it this. Or next one is the credit card fraud detection. That is in depth, I will go in all these applications because the customer segmentation, stock trading, product generation, digit recognition, speech understanding, and shape detection. So these are the examples. I will go in depth about all these examples. So then after that, if time permits, so I will explain one program which is accepting our input and next how it gives the answers for that, right? So that means as a simple tool, artificial tool like that, that is a very simple thing. So first we'll see that what are the applications of this. The first application of this one is the gaming. So now again, everyone likes the games, video games are different kinds of games. So that is the gaming part is also one kind of artificial intelligence. Suppose here is artificial intelligence plays an important role for mission to think of lots a position like a human being. For example, if I want to play a chess, if I want to play chess with Vishwanath Anand, if I want to play chess with Vishwanath Anand, directly is it possible to me? No, directly it is not possible to play the game with the Vishwanath Anand. So then at that time, what I have to do? I want to play with him. So we take the ideas from the Vishwanath Anand and we can create one artificial tool or one program. And so that will be stored in the computer, right? So that is the device will be same like this. So that is the one side computer is playing, other side we are playing. But here is the computer game is implemented by the thoughts of Vishwanathan. We take the Vishwanathan thoughts and we can implement and we can design one artificial tool, and one side that will be playing, other side I am playing. That means virtually I am playing with Vishwanathan. So that is the chess game, is a one kind of gaming design. So for that purpose here is that game is thinking like a human being as Vishwanathan. So that is the chess, river crossing game, n-queens problem. There are hundreds of problems we can solve by using a gaming theory. So that is, I think, gaming theory is also one subject in artificial intelligence, BTech students. That is, the gaming means how to take the ideas from the people and how to make it as a virtual Vishwanathan in the chess game. That is the gaming. So second one is intelligence robot. Already I explained that intelligent robot, because here you see that dog, original dog. So for this dog, exactly what we have to do, we have to feed the dog and we have to take care about the dog every day. We have to do something for the dog, even if the dog contains some illness or something. So that definitely, so that is a lot of expenditure is required for that. To avoid that, here is we can create a robotic. So that is a dog robotic. So in the same way, so then if you want to implement this artificial intelligent dog, that means the dog, so that is the robot will think like a normal dog. So then in that case, all the functionalities, all the thinking capability of the dog can be stored in the memory of this dog. And through these eyes, we can keep the sensors. So the sensor is capturing the photograph, inside it will be searching, and according to decisions, it will perform the actions. So that we know that what are the benefits of that, right? So that is, so this is the, so next one is natural language processing. Interact with the computer that understand natural language spoken by human being. But here is a natural language processing is also one kind of artificial intelligence. So because recently, so that is, I had seen one Tamil movie. So that is one of the B12 movie. So there, so suppose I don't know Telugu, I don't know Tamil. I know Telugu, I know English. Because, so it was excellent movie. So, but even I could not understand in Tamil. So then the translation is there. Suppose the same thing while it was playing in the, in TV. So then the Tamil words are converted into Telugu, or Tamil words are converting into English, so that I can understand that thing. That is the language processing. We can design our own compilers because only English is there or some other languages. But suppose if you design one Telugu compiler for speaking, so that is the only entire Andhra Pradesh and Telangana people, they can utilize more things. That is called natural language processing. That means, so it should understand our language, our questionnaires are like this. So based on that, it has to take the decision. That is the sentiment analysis or text processing. We are going to the text processing and sentiment analysis like this. That is the natural language processing is also one kind of application. And another one is the expert system. So that is the mission or software provide explanation and device to the users. For example, recently, so one function was there. So at that time, I don't know how to not yet type. So the simply in the Google, I asked that. So that is how to not yet type. So then the Google played one video, how to not yet type. According to that, I will type. Right? That means that is the one expert system. It is giving instructions, advices. The system which will give instructions or advices, those kind of things are called expert systems. So the recently one of my BTech student has done one project on one application. Suppose today if my son watches the TV and in the tomorrow morning, how many marks he will get? Suppose when you put this question, my system will say that, so that is how many marks he will get. Either he will get more marks or less marks. Either how many hours we can allow him to the TV like this. I will execute, I will show that program in the last session. So that is the expert systems we can create. So next one is, you see that. So these are the some of the AI applications, that is the 4 are according to textbook, that is in a data sciences or machine learning, they kept, so 4 are 4 textbooks. So now here is in a real life example, suppose here is exactly for research people, are suppose those who are doing research or MTech projects or BTech projects. So I will explain in depth about this, some of the examples. So spam mail detection. So the first thing is, so one of the best example for artificial intelligence or machine learning is the spam mail detection. So everyone, I think everyone has mail, 1 or 2 mails, right? So, but when you open that in the left bar, in the left corner, we can see that inbox and spam. But some mails will be entered into the spam and some mails will be entered into the inbox. Because a good mails, that is the original mails, are entered into the inbox and duplicate mails are entered into the spam box. How it is possible? How the computer will classify all these things? How that is identifying? Then here is, so it is a one kind, mission is thinking like a human being. For example, what we can do? First, when you see the text, so manamu mail ochina text chusam anukondi, aa text anta manaku related kaakapothe, we can think that it is a spam mail, right? Or suppose sometimes if the mail data should not related to ours, we can think that it is a spam mail. If you are receiving the mail from unknown persons, we can say that it is a spam mail. As a human being, we are thinking like that. But how the computer will think and separating spam mails from original mails? So according to research and data, so then you see that, so that is, here is this, so that is the, what are the characteristics we have to consider and we have to design the mission. So first one, you see that recipient address not in to field or CC field. So that is 64% of spam mails contains no to address, no CC address. You think that 64% according to research, 64% of mails are having no to address, no CC address. You may think that, so to address lekunda manaku mail ela vastundi anedi aalochincharu. To address gaani CC address lekunda, without to address CC address, we are getting a spam mails more. But how it is possible? So then here is, if you are good at network security, so then IP protocol is there, right? TCP IP protocol. And IP protocol, so we can able to create a virtual layer of private networks. We can create virtual layer of private networks. So, but when you are using that private networks, through the IP address, it sends the mails. Without our mail ID, through the virtual machine, we can send address to that. So, through the IP addresses, we can send the mails. So, to field is missing. We can see that to field, there is no to field. So, through the virtual mails, they can send it. Or this to field contains invalid mail IDs. I will show later on that. So, that is to field contains invalid mail IDs. Invalid mail ID means not your exact mail ID, because sometimes the machine will understand either to address is there or not. But when you see that there is no to address, it says that it is spam mail. But what you have to do, in the to field, we can give the duplicate or invalid mail ID. Invalid abc@yahoo.com. So xyz@gmail.com like this. But when you are given that, machine will think that, okay, this mail is go to this place or something. So that is the infield and invalid address. Message ID. Each and every message having its own identity, ID number. That ID number, without the ID number, they can send a message. Or suspected message ID 20%. Two field contains more than 15 recipients. So CC field, suppose if you want to send the same mail to the 100, so suppose it is a spam mail, definitely they can send that mail to more than 1,000 members. But at that time, so it will identify it as a spam. More than 15 mails are sending through the CC field. So definitely it identifies that it is a spam. But sometimes you have to send more number of mails, more than 15. But how it is possible? That is from this field to two field, 6%. Field contains more than 5 to 15. Field contains more than 5 to 15 fields, that is 2% like this. BC field or something like this. So when you are saying that all these things, these features, right? So based on these attributes, when we are analyzing, and we can based on that, it will identify it is a spam mail or not. Now you see that some of the examples I will see that is the spam mail. For example, one thing is you see that original message ID is this one. You see that original message ID. When you open your mail ID, so you can find everything. History last look in the manan chudochu. Me mail, suppose when you open your mail ID in some other place, Delhi lo open chesaran konni. Immediately it says that your mail ID is open at Delhi and so system. Is it you or not? But how the system will say that? So that is the different case, right? But here is so that is the message will be having its own message ID. But if it is a spam mail, so they can remove this message ID and they can create a duplicate message ID, they will send it. So that is the one thing. And within our mail ID, but when you right click and when you see that the details of that your mail, you can find all these things. SPF, that is the standard policy framework. DKIM pass, that is the domain key identified mail, and DMARC, that is the domain-based message authentication reporting and conformance. So that is these three should be having pass. Keyword is the pass. But when you are using these three are pass, so that is the computer will understand that it is a original mail. It is a original mail, so that it will enter into the inbox. But exactly if the spam mail sender, exactly what they can do, so they can, even it is a spam mail, they can change this word. So that is the pass and pass. They can give his own name with the different IP addresses. So, but with IP addresses, when you are giving that, automatically that spam mail entered into the inbox. So, mail ID open choose number, you can find out the SPF, that is the DKIM pass and ఉంటుంది. Original వాటికి అయితే pass అని ఉంటుంది. Spam mail వాటికి అయితే pass అని ఉంటుంది. Blank space అని ఉంటుంది. So the different names will be given like this. Suppose here is, but when you are sending the bulk mails through the IP address, so then the computer will receive and it will say that either these three are having pass, that is the keyword pass or not. If three are having pass, immediately it thinks that it is a original mail and it's stored in the database. But how to, so that is, you see that. So domain key, so that is the pass and SPF, so the domain key is pass and information will be given like this. Totally information is giving like this. So next, how to send the mails? You see that from Joseph.Andrew@bk.ru. So bk.ru is a, so that is the spam, so that is the phishing URL. So then here is, you see that there is a no to address. You see that in that case there is a no to address, and from we know that reply to same thing here given, from and reply, but both are same address. But here is there is a no to field is there, so we can receive that mail, right? Our second one is, but here is they are giving to field with the hidden, that is the encrypted format, hide chaser. The address, the firm address is hidden. So, but when are hiding that, we can't identify either who has sent that mail. So this ID at the rate of msn.com. But here it's 2 BCC, everything is come, but we can't see that from address, we can't see that BCC address. So then here is also when you are sending that, it will be entered into the inbox. But how to send these mails? For example, you see that if you are good at HTML, so suppose in web technologies, it is very easy to send a spam mail to your mail IDs. For example, one way is, you see that, so one way according to that research, so the one way of sending spam mail is, here is, you see that H tag, already you use that H tag. So that is A tag. H reference is equal to HTTP dot. Here is we are using a different screen. Suppose you see that there are different lasers. Suppose you see that. Suppose here you see that HTML, this one. Here is exact, that is the spam URL is there. But in the desktop part, suppose on the web page, we are giving that a different URL, e-banking login. So, but everyone when see that, we are thinking that it is a e-banking login there. When you click on this, so this page will be open, and whatever you do that will be sent to the mail of your mail ID. So second one is, we are giving IP address. Without domain name, we can give the IP address. Sign in, we are giving sign in. When you click on that, everyone, they can't remember all the IP addresses of each and every domain. For example, when you are taking the Google IP address, what is the Google IP address? What is the Gmail IP address? What is the Yahoo address? So, but we know that, suppose the google.com. But domain names we can remember, but we can't remember so that is the IP addresses. But when you are not able to recognize that, so they can use the spam mail IP address in the H reference field, and here is we can write a sign in. But when you click on that, automatically we can get. Next one is encrypted format. We can send the mail encrypted format. I don't want to go in depth about all these things. Just to only I am saying that how to send this spam mail and how to recognize that. So that is here is in the on the web page you can see that www.citibank.com. It is a name is displaying, but inside encrypted URL is given. So that URL is the spam mail URL. So that is the third one. Our next one is, you can see that. So at Amazon or something like, click here to confirm your account details. But here is also fake. Here is also fake. Whatever I explained, that is the 5. So 90% of the things are without 2 fields. 85% links I analyzed, and only 41.87 is taken, right? So this is the mail. But here is, I written that code also, but how to send the mails to, spam mails to that. So these are the things. So these are the links. When you are clicking that, spam mail will be goes. Example. So next one is the video surveillance. Another example is video surveillance. Everyone knows that recently some thefts has done like this, right? So video processing is also comes under artificial intelligence. But in our cell phone, you can see that gallery. So in the gallery, we know that suppose depending upon that person, images are automatically classified and stored. For example, my family photos are there. All my photos are stored in one folder. All my son photos are stored in another folder. All my wife photos are stored in one folder. My daughter are like this. But how they are classifying, how they are identifying, how the videos are running in the crimes or something like this, right? So one of my scholar is working on video surveillance by using IoT, that is the crimes, right? Suppose the palm print or fingerprints based on that. So face recognition. So this is the one thing like this. But when you are taking that is the video surveillance system, this is my family photo. So that is the recognizing, and here is, I will explain that. Suppose here is, what are the challenges? Suppose when sometimes my photographs will be stored in my son folder. because my son face from me is same to me, or my wife photos may be stored in my daughter thing. So because in that some misclassification is there, and that is the here is in the video surveillances, how to take the video and how to convert that into frames, and from that frame how to extract the objects, and from that objects how to extract the face, and how to extract the classify the things. So for that purpose in the research, suppose what are the main drawbacks of these limitations means, one is the dimensionality reduction, that is the research problems. So if you want to do any research in the video surveillance or face recognition, we can use the challenges. One is the dimensionality reduction. Dimensionality reductions means, so generally if you want to recognize the person, we take 2 eyes, nose, lips, or skin, or something like this. If you have taken more features, the complexity will be high. So that's why when you are reducing the dimensionality, definitely it will be increased. Next one is pose variance. But when you see that when you are rotating face like this, more than 20 degrees, at present systems cannot recognize. Then we have to go for 3D videos. Illumination variant. Suppose one side, that means the light is fallen high, on other side there is no lighting. So then we can say that. So that is also not possible to recognize the faces. Facial expressions, that is emotions, smiling, so that is the crying or happy movements like this. Aging conditions, natural, so that is the neutral expressions, but how to identify the neutral expressions. Low resolution in image video conferences, but suppose in the video conferences, the image is very low, then at that time recognition is not possible, and face are rigid or something. So these are the some of limitations of the face recognition from the video surveillance systems, right? So already, so suppose, so that is an emotion recognition. I applied for the government DST. Already I got that is the 22 lakhs for this also. I submitted it. I published more number of papers on the emotion recognition based on that amygdala on that one. So that is the 2 projects. One is the multiple security for ATM, and another one is the researcher. But here is recently one of my student, research scholar, he published one paper. So in the mission handling like this. So this is the thing. Our first one is the face. Suppose here is how to take that video to frame, frame to person. So then here is applied for this PCA, DRLBP operator, GLCM, gray level co-occurrence matrix. Based on that, I created one database, and now that techniques for teaching something to the computer, whether what person is what like that. And here is I created training data set testing, and that is the multiple linear regression technique applied. Predictions, that is the t-test, p-test, R value, recall, precision, F score, MS are this one. So based on that, I estimated underfit technique, best fit, overfit. If got best fit, we can make it as a classification. If it is a overfit, again we can take the size of the training data set, testing data set. If underfit means if the training data set and the testing data set both are so poor quality, then underfit will occur. Overfit means a training data set is good, and that is the testing, that is the sample size is testing data is poor, then overfit will occur. Best fit means both the training data set and testing data set is same, so best fit will be occur. According to that, we implemented that one paper. You see that the first one is we have taken the video. From that video, so we extracted the photograph, that is the databases 1, 2, 3, and here is a face is recognized with the red line. You can see that with the red rectangle. So after that, I applied the PC, and the next one is we are taking this one, the RLBP. The last one is the feature extraction. You can see that exactly. So that is the depth and the height, and the features are extracted. Eyes, eyeball, lips, everything is applied. So after that, so that is another one is one of my MTech student, and took the 2 eyes, left eye, right eye, nose, and lips. I applied the same technique for classification. I created the database by using, so that is a GLCM matrix. So after that, I applied the machine learning techniques and I classified the things of this. So, but when you are using this, automatically my system will say that, so either you are angry or sad or discussing mood. So that means this method express. Suppose when you give your photograph, so my system will receive your video and it separate the frames. From that frame, it takes my face photograph, and the next it separate the two eyes, left eye, right eye, lips and nose. According to that, it identifies, it says either you are so angry or sad or discussing. Your emotions can specify this one. So for that purpose, I written this program, I executed. This is the anger phase, this is the discussing, this is the fear, happy and sad, right? So that is the 6 basic emotions I written this program for this, right? So this is the one of the example. So, but in the neural networks or in fuzzy logic, you can use any other kinds of techniques and we can find the thing. But when you are using this video surveillance system in the crime, easily we can detect the person. But whenever detecting that person, that machine will say that. But how it will be detecting and how that will be identifying, it comes under artificial intelligence. There also, it's a here is a how I take this as an artificial intelligence decision support system is, for example, the human beings, the decision making is depends on their emotions and emotion. For example, if I am very happy, at that time student came for permission. Then what I will do? Simply I can give permission. Either I don't think either he is going for good purpose or bad purpose. Suppose at that time I was angry, but even he come, I won't say that first you get out. Right? If I am in discussing mode, so then, so that is I can't take decisions. But how to identify my emotions? So for this purpose, but emotions, already I said that. So in brain, amygdala part is there. The functionality that amygdala reflecting on our face. Our face is index of mind. But suppose when you are happy, some part of the face is changes. When you are sad, some part of the face changes. We can recognize and we can identify. My system will say that you are so happy, don't promise anything. If you are so angry, don't promise anything. You are in discussing mode, so that don't take decision. You are in fear mode, so that is it is not right time to take the decision. When your condition is in normal, it says that it is the right time to make the decision. So then here is I have created one artificial tool, that is the one program. Just here is only software tool I have designed and I have submitted to the government, right? But here is, this is for decision making. Decision making is also part of artificial intelligence, right? I think you understood that. So this is the one of the example, and another example is, you can see that. So example ela chesamu ante just we have taken the video, from video to images to separate face detection, left eye, right eye, nose and lips. After that, we applied the PCA and the DRLBP for feature extraction. So after that, we created data set by using the gray level co-occurrence matrix with the 6 features. So on that data sets, we applied the machine learning techniques, and on output of that machine learning techniques, I applied the data science application, that is the statistical parameters. Based on that, so I identified either he is in which mood, either anger mode, sad mode, like that. This paper, right? So already I published 8 papers, some are in the SCI journals. But recently, one of my scholar is working on this area. So he wrote this paper, and this is not yet published. So then we have to publish it, right? So this is the phase. So second one is, that is already actual rate. So many graphs we are written, but I did not kept in this slide. And the second one is, second application of this one is a medical diagnostic stick. A medical diagnostic stick. So suppose in the medical diagnostics, recently we can see that IoT technology. In the IoT technology, so we are using harmless sensors. We can insert harmless sensors in our body. Always continuously it will capturing the data. It's stored in the cloud. By using these artificial intelligence techniques, we can apply so that if you got some problem, suppose you got some heart attack, right? So immediately, without without our notice, so that is the hospital people will come and bring to the hospital, so that we can save some crores of the people life. But how it is possible, right? So suppose in that cases, always that is suppose so many bodies, that is the heart attack. For example, while you are traveling alone in the forest, at that time when you got a heart attack, then who will save you? So definitely no one will save. Suppose harmless sensors are inserted in your body, or otherwise they can add, so that is like rings or some other things like that. Suppose they will capture the data of that heartbeat and everything. So continuously it will send the data to the cloud. So the hospital, suppose whenever are getting the heart attack, that information will be sent to the particular hospital. So that hospital people will come and save you. Suppose if this technology is implemented, you can save 1,000 crores of people life. But how to do this? So that is the different attributes we are taken. Different attributes. For example, if it is a cancer part, if it is a, suppose there is heartbeat, I have taken 16 attributes. That is the age, sex, so that is the gender, chest pain, blood pressure, or cholesterol, or like this. So based on that, I designed one model with the artificial intelligence. That is the machine learning. So that model, how that model will be designed? So suppose when we take the data set and we can analyze it. So that is, we can identify frequent item sets. For example, when you got chest pain, when you got heart attack, a chest pain is there, or next for gender, or more than 40 years aged people, we are getting that. So according to this data set, so that is the what model we got. So that is, whenever person is getting a heart attack, his age should be more than 40 years, he is a gent, and his chest pain, cholesterol, like this. So that is the chest pain is the highest priority. But once we are designing this, but according to that model, whenever the data is received from the sensors from the human body, it analyzes against this model, it will check, and if that is matching, immediately it says that you are getting heart attack. But there is a research is going on. For example, nowadays, 35 years, people also getting heart attack. Even ladies also getting heart attack. What are the reasons? Again, you have to analyze. That is the self. Already I explained that. That is the theory of mind. So automatically it will be searching, and the data, again it creates the new model on its own. So based on that, it takes the decision. So this is also the BTech students have done project on this medical, and so that is the data sets are like this. But another research scholar, so is working on mammogram on the same in the machine learning techniques. So then you see that. So mammograms, already you know that breast cancer, right? Mammography is X-ray image of breast produced by fMRI or mammographic materials. So in that case, you see that analog mammograms are there, digital mammograms are there, mammography is there. Mammography means the process of interpreting X-ray images of breast to find like cancer. So you have to find out whether the person is having cancer or not. For example, so nowadays, so most of the people, they are feeling shy to go to doctor for the checkup. But at that time, my intention is what? So recently I applied for a DST project to this one. So with the cell phone, for example, so suppose women, they can test at their home with the cell phone. So they'll capture the photo. Whenever that will be having abnormality, immediately they can go to the hospitals, because it reduces the process. That is with the cell phone. right? So the breast cancer detection. So, but for that purpose, recently I applied this, but I did not get. So that is it is in process. So just you see that in the mammogram, that is the cancer. So that is the one thing is benign or malignant. I don't want to go in depth about that. So this is the cancer part. When you say that, a confirmed cancer part is there. But when you are getting the photograph, uneven illuminated also problem. But here is, this is called pictorial. Sometimes body skin also. So looking like a cancer part. After delivery, some crashes will come. That is also looking like a cancer part at present systems. But here is, by using that machine learning techniques, we can remove this. For example, here you see that. So I have identified the cancer part. But here is white part is there. Suppose you see that this is the pictorial. But how to remove the pictorial and how to remove the noise and how to identify either it is a left side breast or right side or something like. For this one, recently, so what are the problems, research problems in the current stage? Because the time is up to finish. So these are the problems, research problems. But one of my students, he proposed one technique in the database, pre-processing for removal of noise. He taken the median filter and removed the noise, and pictorial removal. So that is the white skin part is removed with the wow transformations or label removal. Sometimes when you are getting the mammographic photograph, the label will be there. Date and time will be automatically fallen in the image. But you have to remove the date and time. That labels also you have to remove. After that, you have to identify the edge detection. Based on that, we can extract the cancer part, and so that we can do the things. So classification is done. Either he is having, so that is the severe, so that is the cancer, or suppose moderate or no cancer detection like this. Based on that, he will undergo for treatment. So that is, this is the machine learning technique they apply. For example, you see that this is the original image. You see that this is the original image, or this original image corrupted by some noise. You see that. Is it visible, Andy? Hello?
Sir, it's visible, sir.
Yeah. In the second one, you see that here is the noise is there. Here is I added some speckle noise. But in the speckle noise, so in the original image, when you see that it is only cancer part, but it is a body part. This is called pectoral. But it is also looking like a cancer part. But here is the label is there. So sometimes when you are getting that, the label part is also coming like this. But here is, so first thing is you have to remove, you have to improve the quality of the image. So for this purpose, here is I applied some technique and I removed this noise. Suppose when you are removing that, you got this original image, right? Noise is removed in the pre-processing. After that, so second image, you see that pectoral removal. This part is removed here. You see that by using wow transformation, we remove this pectoral part. Suppose the pectoral part is also there. Definitely, it should be the misclassification, because the most of radiologists where they are failing to identify whether it is a cancer or not because of this pectoral, right? We are removing this pectoral in the second case, and this label is also removed. You see that the label is also not there. After that, finally, so we got cancer. The last one is the cancer part of this one, right? So here is the same thing. So whatever technique I implemented, the same thing I will embed with the cell phone. I will embed that with the cell phone. But in the cell phone, so everyone is having cell phone. Even that is the woman or youngsters, so they can get the photograph with that cell phone at their home, and within that cell phone, they can see that whether the severity is there or not, whether cancer is there or not. So that's why here is we have taken these examples of this one, and we made this results. And next, already we have drawn the graphs are like this. So now we see that. So the same thing, cancer part is only detected, and we have drawn the graph of this one. Now you see that our proposed method. So, but when you see that M4, M7 or M9 are having high severity, M4, M7 and M9, you see that. So that is the M4 is this one. So cancer is high. So that is the M7, cancer part is high, or M9. So that's why, so my system will say like this. But when you see that M6, M5, M3 are no cancer, you see that M6, you see that last one, M6, there is no cancer part, or M3, very small, that is called benign, a particular shape is there, benign. So then here is, so this benign part is also recognizing. But suppose when you are inserting this, suppose when you apply this technique, so we can save some crores of women life, because at exact percentage, only 20% of diagnosed. So that is the member of identified cancer part. But most of the radiologists, they are failing so to identify that cancer part. But the same tool, so suppose when you are writing this code, the same tool, when you are inserted and you can create one tool like a cell phone or any other instrumentation, artificial intelligence. So the same methodology incorporated in that. So then easily every woman can get photograph at their home, and so that they can identify whether it is a cancer or not. If the cancer is in primary stage, then it is easy to cure. If the cancer is in, so that means easily we can save the things. So that means this kind of applications, when you do with the artificial intelligence, so that is, so here is, this is the one of the simple example of this I had given. If you implement more, so suppose accurate algorithms, so when you are incorporating, we are making it as one artificial device, 100% we can save some crores of people life. So that's why you can go, these are the research gaps I found in the things. I applied this for DST, and the RUSA already it has sanctioned, but not at come. So that is, this is the one problem for in medical MSc. So that is in with the artificial intelligence, right? So this is the another one. So next one is the fraud detection, credit card fraud detection. Everyone knows that. So card already we know that. Suppose recently I went to WIT, Vellore Institute of Technology, because I am the doctoral committee member there. So then I went to that WIT and I withdrawn the money of 10,000. So on the same day, I opened my mail IDs. So then in that case, immediately I got message to my phone. So in so-and-so Vellore in the Vellore Institute of Technology, there, and so-and-so ATM mission, you have given identity number. So that is, you are drawn 10,000 rupees. Is it you or not? Is it you or not? So then I got that message to my cell phone. But in that case, if it is not mine, so then simply I can say that reject. Suppose when I am rejecting that, the bank people automatically my ATM will be blocked. They can block my ATM because it is a fraud. But how the computer is sending that message? The same thing. So I came to Produttur, and in front of my university, in front of our university, I withdrawn 10,000 rupees. But at that time, I did not get any message. At that time, I did not get any message. Just only I withdrawn this amount in so-and-so bank. But there, when I withdrawn that amount, in that case, I got some message, either are you, is it you or not? The same thing, I went to Hyderabad. So that is the same way when I withdraw the amount, the same message I got. But why, when I am getting Produttur, why it is not? Because here is some intelligent techniques are using in ATM card fraud detection. But here is whenever you withdraw, but it will identify that either it is a false transaction or correct transaction. But at the same time, you try to withdraw the money at late night, 12 o'clock. Definitely you can get the message. How we are getting, how that intelligence missions they are preparing like this. That means here is also in the fraud detection. So we can take these attributes. One is in every transaction we'll have transaction ID. Prati transaction ko oka ID untundi. So everything that will be maintained in the database. So second one is the time. So that is at what time is performing transactions. The time and date that will be mentioned. Account number, credit card number, transaction type, entry mode, amount, merchant code, merchant group, country, country to, type of card, gender, age, bank. These attribute values will be automatically stored in the database. But how that will be identifying? Because you see the time. So on time, what you can say that? Because so that is myself, my habit of withdrawing the money is from morning 6 to evening 10 o'clock. This is my time. During this time only, most of the transactions I will do, right? But suppose somebody has stolen my credit card or my ATM card, then so he will try to get the money at late nights, at the 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock. But when you're comparing with the databases, my timings are from 6 to 9, but his timing is 7 to or something. 9 late night, 10 o'clock. But here is the time is not matching. Then it says that is one of the, it will get some ambiguity. It sends the message. And another one is my transaction amount. Suppose whenever I go to that lab, my psychology, my habit is only I will draw with 5,000 or 10,000. More than that, I won't withdraw the money. More 10,000 and 5,000. But or one time or two times I will insert. Suppose if somebody has taken my card, so he will try to get more money, more than 10,000. Or more number of times he will insert. So he will try to get. But at that time, more number of times he is inserting that card. So that is also abnormality to us. According to amount, according to area. For example, always I am so that is I am living in Produtur. So in and around Produtur only I can withdraw the money. But so that is when I go to Vellore, very rarely I can go to that. But whenever I go to that place, but there is a 90% of the chances are there to get the fraud. Like that. Suppose when we are analyzing this, so everything is analyzed by the intelligence missions and appropriate message is sending to us, right? So that is based on the time, entry type, or for example, suppose in the credit card, a purchasing habit is also there. Now purchasing habit, so it understands my purchasing habits. According to that, it will be getting. Suppose my purchasing habit content different, immediately it sends the messages. My transaction timings, right? Or everything will be identified. So according to that, so it analyzes, it writes the programs, it takes the database, it writes the programs, automatically it gives the answers. So this is also one kind of, so that is the credit card fraud detection.
Sir, Nagaraj,
but when you are making...
Nagaraj, sir, sorry to disturb you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, we'll close this session by 12 o'clock, sir, and next session afternoon 2 o'clock will start, with your permission.
Okay, sir. In the next session, I will explain some examples or one problem, I will write that program. I will show the program. I will write how the computer will giving answers like that. Right, sir?
Okay, no issues.
So, are you following, sir? Is there any?
Yeah. No, sir. Exactly. It is nice, sir. You are going in an excellent sequence, sir. I think most of the participants, it seems they have got benefited today.
Thank you, sir. So already all are implemented, sir, because I'm good at these methods, right?
You are not even stopping for 1 minute also, sir. I think you are utilizing even effective time. Very nice, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. At 2 o'clock, I will explain remaining three applications. Yes. After that, I will show that how the machine will give answers for your questions, right? Okay. So practically, I will show that, right?
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sir. Dear participants, thank you so much for your time, and we'll hope I will meet again sharply by 2 o'clock, and we have next session. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.